Growing up, I was never super familiar with the concept of tithing, but it wasn't until I had actually heard a sermon from Pastor Fred when I was in college, how it really is meant to be more of a consistent practice in life every day. From that moment in that sermon, I really felt like God was sharing that was something that I needed to start doing. And it was one of my most exciting bills to pay, even in college. I remember I got excited to add up at the end of the month everything that I made and to choose to give 10% of that.
For me, tithing and the idea of chipping in has been something that I have been doing my whole life. It's something that my family did and even encouraged me to do with birthday money when I was young. Stewardship is this idea that God has given us everything that we have, and to tithe 10% or to chip in is simply giving 10% back of what was already God's to begin with. And so in a way, it's almost like keeping 90%.
I think one of the things that surprised us the most collectively, tithing in a marriage and chipping in that way, was just how much God blessed us through that. We got to see time and time again how God continuously gave more and blessed in more spontaneous ways. And we always talk about how we know that that's because we were faithful in stewarding what God gave us. We're very involved at City Life, and we love every opportunity we have to get to see the building get improved, getting to be a part of the youth group and getting to serve the students, and seeing that the money that we're choosing to give through chipping in is being used each week to be able to make this church a better place for the community that they serve and the different churches that come here.
No matter what chipping in looks like for you, I encourage you to go and take the next step in your journey with that. So if you aren't chipping in to the church, then I encourage you to do what you need to do to be able to start that journey. And maybe you're not giving 10%, and maybe it's time to take a look at your budget and see how you could take this step in getting closer to that. Or maybe you've been faithfully giving 10% for a long time, but God is calling you deeper, is calling you to give some gifts that might be outside of your comfort zone. And so maybe it's giving towards a legacy offering or missions giving. There's always a place that you can go deeper in generosity, and there's always a place where God can challenge you.
We'd encourage you to look at what percentage that you can offer from your budget. Obviously, 10% is what we hear when we think of the word tithing, but really a percentage is something that will allow you to be able to give as your income fluctuates and be able to have a consistent offering that you're giving to God to be able to be used and to be challenged in your budget. If 10% seems too high or it's something you've never considered before, it's okay to start smaller. It's okay to be challenged to let that grow over time, because God can use whatever you're willing to give Him.
Thank you so much for letting us share just a glimpse of our chipping in story. And we know that each and every one of us has chipping in stories that God is just waiting to share through our lives. And so we encourage you to find your next place to chip in, and we can't wait to see what God does.